This is Evolving with Jessica Nguyen, brought to you by Sandstone. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a fresh new episode of Evolving with Jessica Nguyen. I'm your host, Jessica, the Chief Strategy and Legal Officer at Sandstone, an AI native legal platform. Okay, folks, she needs no introduction. If you have been in the legal innovation or legal operations space, I don't know, since the start of legal operations, but we'll do a short introduction anyway. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Mary O'Carroll. I'm guessing you guys could probably guess that from my intro, who is a co-founder of Clock, who built the legal operations function at Google, and she's currently the CEO of LECG. Hey, Mary, how are you?
Hi, Jess. So nice to be here. I'm great. How are you?
You look so rested and glowing
Huh.
after all. How many clocks have you been to, which was a few
Oh my
last week?
gosh. I've only missed one of the CGIs, which was last year. So how
Okay.
many has it been?
I
2016? 10
I don't
was it
know.
the 10-year anniversary?
Oh my, is that why
I
they
think
had
it
Flow
might have
Rida?
been. It
I
might
was very sad because I had a baby and I was on mat leave last year. And when I heard Flow Rida was there, I was like, that is the songs I grew up clubbing to. It was very Gen Z millennial a concert. Yeah.
that was last year. I missed that one too. But I think this year might have been the 10 year. So maybe I've been to
Okay.
9? Although I've been to, like, a bunch of regional ones too. So, anyway, been here, been around a long time.
Yeah. So when I was building this podcast, and you saw from the title that it's called Evolving. And we titled it Evolving because it's not just about the evolution of careers over decades, but I also thought about the evolution of legal technology and so much more. And Mary, frankly, you embody all of that. Your career has gone through so many evolutions. You have also seen the evolutions of the legal operations function. And frankly, you've also seen the evolution of what is legal technology, because frankly, it's not, we've been using in the legal function a bunch of technology, but it was never labeled or categorized as legal specific, right? We've been using Office products, we've been using
Right.
Google products. So thank you for being here. And let's just kick it off with your career. I would love to just hear about how you got started in legal ops, because there's a lot of folks who follow me or have followed my career who don't really understand the legal operations, where it came from. So frankly, even that includes me. When I was at
Yeah.
Microsoft, Mary, we had folks who were non-lawyers in the department, but they were called business affairs managers or business
Right.
managers or program managers. Tell me about legal operations and where it
Yeah,
started.
when the term emerged, we got a lot of people coming out and saying, "Oh my gosh, I've been doing this job for X number of years and I it never had a title." So there was a lot of people that were very appreciative of the birth of the title. So my first foray into legal was at a law firm. So I'm not a lawyer. I
Mm.
was an investment banker and a management consultant, and then I kind of fell into legal when I joined
Oh.
Oric like 20 some years ago now. And I was working for the COO, so really focused on profitability and, like, running the business side of the firm. After a few years there, I got a call from Google, and they said, "We're growing really fast. Our legal department doesn't have any process or procedures. Can you come and, like, help organize things?" And so there wasn't much of a job description, and it was just, like, a hyper growth and really smart people, but exactly that, like, no systems, no process, no procedures,
Yeah.
just, like, smart people getting the job done. And so I would just, like, look around, ask people what was going well, what could be better, and then just, like, started to fix things. And that I mean, they did call the job legal operations, and there were certainly, like, a few other people in the world doing legal operations. A few of us found each other, we got together, that's how Clock was born, just as a casual, like,
Oh.
lunch and learn get together. And we were like, "Oh, you do what I do, like, we should share best practices." And so that whole thing exploded, and in the early days, first of all, there was nobody knew what legal ops was and what it would
Mm-mm.
evolve into, like, a lot of us were focused on outside counsel and financial management because there were no tools, to your point. Like, there was no such thing as legal
No.
tech. There were legal tech conferences and legal tech associations, but it was really focused on law firm, like time and billing systems
Mhm.
and, like
E-discovery was
yeah,
very.
exactly, document
Yeah.
management type stuff. So, yeah, it wasn't there was nothing for the in-house teams, like e-billing was just starting to emerge. I even think e-discovery was, like, still a new thing. So, yeah, we had to kind of create everything, and I think many of us coming together and this was, like, the beauty of what Clock did was create awareness and then creating a community of people that had these jobs because the jobs started flourishing. We created demand. So we created demand for alternative legal service providers. We created demand for legal technology and investment into this space on the legal department side. And so, everything from there just kind of skyrocketed. And, I went to legal tech because I thought that's where things were really interesting and back to working with legal ops teams now.
What's really interesting about your career is I that's right, you had a stint at Oric and then Google and then building community and more at Ironclad. And then you also did a stint of strategy and innovation back to Big Law.
Yes.
What brought you back? And then now I feel like you've done every little thing. You now have full perspective
Yes.
as a vendor, as a consumer of legal tech, not just from an in-house legal perspective, but also as a law firm perspective. What has inspired each move? I mean, I can just folks, if you could just see Mary, her energy and like desire to grow and learn, you can just, but maybe for folks who are, I think there's a lot of folks now who are exploring options in their career, whether they're in legal ops or even just have a law degree. Like, I don't want to be a traditional lawyer. What are some of the learnings along the way? Like, inspires some of your moves?
So I never was thinking about building my career. I was sadly stubbornly fixated on fixing this industry. I mean, I always say it like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like that's I saw it and it just like will eat at me for the rest of my life if we don't
Well,
fix
you're
this.
gonna fix the legal industry?
The whole
That's a big
industry,
problem.
yes. Because it's so broken, and that's my first week at Oric, my first, introduction to the legal industry, I just was like, "This is crazy, like,
Ah,
how does this work this way? Like, how has this
yeah.
worked this way for this long?" And so, yeah, I thought we change it from the law firm side? Probably not. Let's go to the client side. Google's this big client, like, I
Yeah.
always tried to go where I felt like I could have the biggest impact on the industry, and so Clock was like that. Let's all come together and, like, let's change the industry.
Yes.
And then when, I saw that technology was starting to come upon the scene in a real way, and Ironclad was one of those leaders that was like,
Mm.
getting people excited about tech, and people were like, "Oh, if I use it, I don't have to do this kind of work anymore, and I can do higher value stuff," and it started changing behaviors. So I thought, "Okay,
Yes.
let's go into legal tech and get people to get excited about legal tech." And then, the law firms said, "We're ready now. We're ready for change." And I tried to go disrupt, like, law firms from the inside again, and then coming back out now, we can certainly talk about the emergence of legal AI, of course, and all the new demands on law firms as well as legal departments, but the biggest bottleneck, and I think this was confirmed coming out of Clock again, is there's gonna be a huge talent gap. There's a lot of work that everybody
Oh.
wants to get done, right? But there's who's gonna do all this work? Like, where are the people who can speak legal plus process plus technology? And that's classically what legal ops has been. But there's this new segment now. I like to call them legal engineers. You can call them whatever you want, but it's the people who can kind of piece together those three things and build and automate and like create the systems that will change the way that we deliver services.
Well, what a nice way to answer for the folks what a legal engineer is, and my circuitous way of asking you. So that's interesting. Your career took you from one big law, and then many, many years later, after working for a legal tech vendor and working in-house back to a law firm. Has there been changes? Because I mean, I know, Mary, you're attracted to making impact. You have made impact, and we can talk about that. But has there been evolution of the big law business model in this data? Because there's a lot of hype right now with all these various legal AI vendors.
Yeah. I think that big law is really serious about wanting to change and
Mhm.
they are making all the steps They are hiring these amazing innovation officers who I know so many of them, and they're like wonderfully talented people who are doing really hard work. They are looking at technology. They are talking to clients about what clients need and what value looks like. They are rethinking pricing. I think that it's hard though. Like these are
Yeah.
huge, super successful organizations that have been built on a model that served an era that, was again very profitable and successful for a very long time. And to scrap that, I mean, it's a true, true innovator's dilemma. Like it's actually the perfect case study of an innovator's dilemma. Like,
Yeah.
how do you disrupt that and change that where it's a complete unknown and risk to do it differently? And there's no, guarantee of success. But you kind of know that's what the client wants and that's kind of where things are going. But you also
Yes.
don't know how long that time horizon is. And so why not keep doing what you're doing while it's still working, while thinking about changing? And like, when do you actually make the big moves? And the big moves are big. Like, they're not just, let's just adopt technology. Like you said, it's the business model, which is fundamentally like how you run every part of the firm. Like they're very good organizations for that current model. So, yeah, I think, like I said, I think there's really good intention. I think there's good investment. We will see as there's a ton of neo firms or like AI native law firms that are emerging with new
Yes.
business models. And it's really interesting to watch, who will win, who will succeed, what will happen. I think it's too early to tell, but it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, you're right that there's this emergence of a concept of an AI native law firm. And I've actually looked into engaging a few to help me with the legal work here at Sandstone. Very interesting. They actually are not that significantly cheaper per hour than, say,
Huh.
someone at a medium or law. But where I think they claim to add value is you're gonna get billed less time because 'cause we're using AI tools to do the work.
Mhm.
So even though rather than billing you 10 hours to do a project, we'll bill you 2 hours. So they're really building in into a higher hourly model. What have you seen?
So you're saying that the rates are not too different, but the amount of time is, of course, quite different, right?
It's a little bit cheaper. So let's say if big the individual that quoted me, I wanted someone experienced that has been in-house. So they would probably be a partner at a law firm. I'm not sure what size law firm, so my guess
Mhm.
would be if you're at a law firm, they would charge anywhere from 800 to 1,200 an hour. They actually quoted me $800 an hour when they're very but their pitch was, "We use AI tools, and so we're gonna charge you a lot less time than if you were to
Mhm.
send this work to a law firm that isn't gonna use AI tools, and they may charge you 3x more time." That
Sure,
was their
sure.
pitch.
Well, and that is the pitch, right? And it should come without the pyramid structure of, layers of associates or
Yeah.
paralegals doing the work as well. So perhaps at the end of the day, I know it sounds like you haven't started that work. Like at the end of the day, should the total price be less? I think that is the
I think
assumption, or
that's the
that's like,
pitch
right?
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so speaking of the associate time, you're right. I'm sure you and I, when we're looking at our legal bills, we don't wanna pay for training associates. They're like, "Why is there 5 different associates working on this, copied in an email, and then billing their time?" But what's gonna happen to all that's
Yeah.
how I learned to practice law. That's how countless millions of lawyers learn to practice law. It's gonna be how they learn to be a lawyer or practice law is changed so much, Mary. What's gonna happen to them?
I think that is a perfect example of why this is not easy, right? These are really, really
Mm.
hard questions of it's all been built this way because it was really successful this way before. Before like everything is changing. And so, yeah, there's a lot of folks that will tell you we don't need associates. We just need partners and technology. And there are firms that are built,
There are
on that
firms,
model.
yes. Yes,
So,
I
and
heard of
someone
some.
just said, right? Someone has told me we only need associates because we need partners of the future. Okay. So, yeah, to your point, how do we get there? And we can't just keep doing what we did before because that's going to give us a different outcome. It's the same outcome that we've currently have. So if we just need to like accelerate that process and get you from, right out of school to having the judgment and experience that a partner has faster, how do we do that? And we have to think like completely differently and re-engineer the training process. And, there are technologies now that are like virtual simulations. I'm not saying this is the answer, but could you gain as much experience of, like, watching, someone who's really talented or skilled as a partner do their partnering and to learn from that, 10 times faster. Like if we listen to podcasts on double time, like you could like learn faster. Like, could you get exposure to more things in a
Yeah.
different way? Like, I don't have the answer. None of us do. If we did, we would have solved this by now. But it's going to require us to experiment and to see what works. And, maybe it's not a pyramid, but like a partner takes someone under their wing earlier in their career and just like spends time with them. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Have you seen I actually haven't tracked this or researched this. Have you seen a trend where law firms are hiring less associates than they used to? So back when I was in law school, and I know you know this process, there was a concept of on-campus interviews
Yep.
and 15 to 20% of a class would get their law firm summer associate job through there, and,
Yes.
and it's a pipeline. Is
Yes.
that is it the same? This is my 20th year since post law school, Mary. So I've been thinking a lot about my 2 decades later, my law school graduate year.
Well, it has to change, and you know that the firms are all thinking about it because, everyone says what the world looks like in 24 months from now is gonna be completely different, and if you think about the AI
Yeah.
landscape and how quickly it's changing, like, we know everything is gonna look different. Okay, so if you're hiring first-year law school students
Yeah.
3 years before they show up to work, like, how could you possibly know what you're gonna need 3 years from now? I think
Yeah.
that firms are dialing back the size of their, first-year classes, maybe not as significantly as, one would think or hope, but they are, and so, yeah, where do they maybe it starts to look more like business school hiring where it happens closer to the time that you actually need them,
Yeah.
to be seen.
It has been always odd to me that these decisions are made uh after my first quarter of my
Right.
first year of law school when I mean, candidly, I didn't get a job at a law school through an on-campus interview because I was still figuring out law school. So if
Well,
my
and that's so true, right?
right? And then I got good at it. So if you look at my 3rd year of law school compared to my 1st year, I was a much better student in my 3rd year because I figured it out, what they
Yeah.
wanted in a legal memo, etcetera. But unfortunately, those decisions were made to at the 1st year. So it'd be really interesting to see the evolution of hiring to post law school.
Right. Well, it's a competitive thing, right? Everyone's competing
Yeah.
for the talent and you wanna get them earlier and earlier and earlier, but now I think maybe we'll go the other way.
Well, good. Well, I actually like what you said earlier that there's still a huge talent gap because one of the things that legal professionals are really terrified of is AI just eliminating a lot of both legal and legal operations roles. I would love to learn more about like what you see as there's still a huge need for so folks who are
Oh,
listening
yeah.
can up level their skills to fill that gap, right? Maybe
Yes.
maybe we're gonna lose jobs and certain responsibilities, but there are gonna be new jobs created because of AI and legal tech.
100%. So I think I'm an optimist here. Look at every technology evolution or emergence. It actually creates more work. Everything that makes things faster and easier actually creates more work because the
Yes.
demand, like, increases, and, the example I love to use is, like, radiology, where that was, like, one of the first use cases for imaging AI, and, "Oh, no, there's, never gonna be a need for radiologists anymore." But what actually happened when the imaging got better, the demand for radiologists went up because people said we can get the images faster, read faster, but who's gonna tell you the so what about what does that mass on the image
Mm.
mean? And so there you need someone who has the skill set to interpret it, and that's exactly what we're starting to see in the practice of law is like, okay, certain things start getting faster and better, but that doesn't mean we need less lawyers. You need more of them, but in a d to do different work, and that's always been the way. Every, turn, you have to sort of evolve the role. But I also think it's the most exciting time to come out of law school because you don't have to just be a lawyer. Like there's not
Yes.
just one path, right? Like you can go in-house, you can go do legal operations, you can work at a legal tech company, you can work at an alternative service provider, you can do flex talent, you can do all like there's endless amounts of like interesting things in the legal industry now that are happening. And I just like clock was a perfect example where worlds are colliding. Like I have a friend from growing up who all of a sudden works for a legal tech company and she's like, I'm going to this thing called Clock. I heard you're involved. I'm like, whoa, like, how are you in my space now? Because legal tech and legal ops was, not cool, but now it's, like, so cool, everybody wants
It's
to be a part.
I think it's cool now.
Yeah, it is, and so to your point that, like, all these jobs have emerged, and
Mhm.
there are gaps for those who can, like I said earlier, be the people who can convert legal processes into technology.
And how do you get that training though? Because honestly, from my understanding of talking to law students that I can't mentor them all, but the few that I do talk to, it's still a very similar curriculum from when I was in law school 20 plus years
Mhm.
ago. Oh, you're nodding. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we think law firms are slow to change, like, get to the law school.
Law schools are worse. You
Law
mean
schools are worse.
academia has no incentive to change?
Yeah, and I think it's the same. It's just really hard even though they
Yeah.
want to and they see and they know what they need to do. It's just really entrenched in the way that it's currently run. But yeah, where do you get the training to be able to speak tech? This new generation that's coming out of school, I think they're just AI native. Like I think they just know
Yes.
how to build. Now, do they have I think there's 3 things you need to be a really good legal engineer. It's like an understanding of the legal processes, which I think lawyers have the best handle on. Then there is the ability to um, do process reengineering, which is like the business side of things. And then the third is I don't know, interest in or grasp of the technology. And depending on how in depth you want that to be, you can either just be super interested in it or you could even be a, software engineer or builder. Um, it will be rare to find someone who is excelling at all 3 of those, but you can often find someone who has, skills and or deep interest in at least 2 of them, and that's probably good enough. And so, yes, in my background, like, I have always trained folks on something. So, when I was at Google, we had a whole team of what I think now would be called legal engineers. Back then, we just called them business process optimization, like, specialist, whatever, made
Oh,
up titles.
that's a
Right?
handful of a title.
We just made titles up because we knew the work that we wanted them to do, but, like, there was
Yeah,
no
yeah,
name for it. But they were the people that would sit down with the lawyers and, like, figure out how they did their work and then figure out how
yeah.
do we use the tools to make that better. And I would hire people who were, like, ex-consultants who focused on process reengineering, and those people never spoke to a lawyer in their life, so I would teach them, like, "This is how the legal work works, these are what the rules are," and I think you could learn that, and I think it's the same for, like, taking someone who understands any one of these 3 corners and, like, being exposed to it. You just have to have a lot of interest and, like, roll up your sleeves and get into it.
Yeah, um, Sandstone knows, and I'll share with you too, is one of the domains that I bought and I will build out in the future is legalintern.ai. And the mission of this is domain is eventually a community and resource is for no charge to really train up law students or legal professionals on how to become AI native and understand legal
Cool.
technology. Yes, I'm actually going to outsource the development of this to my daughter, who is much more tech savvy than I
Wow.
am, Mary. Like
I well,
development of web.
you're
Yes,
better than me. I've been telling my daughter, like, if you can start building websites and building apps and building agents, like, I will hire you to do stuff, but right now,
that's
I don't know,
yeah.
they have no skills. My kids are young, they don't have skills
Oh,
yet.
no, my daughter has no skill, but she figures out tech a lot quicker than I do. But, I mean, in terms of, like, and I think school I mean, oh, hold on, when we were growing up, we didn't I learned to type on a typewriter.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally, but it's different skills that they don't have, like, my daughter was applying to jobs this summer, and she's like, "Why can't they just text me? Why do I have to use email?" I'm like, "No, the professional world is an email." And she's like, "So, like, how quickly do they want me to respond? I don't have to respond for a few days." I'm like, "As quick as possible. Like, you need to respond as soon as you see the email." And she'll
She
just sit
wants
on
a
it. I'm like, "Wow."
she wants a text for
Yeah.
confirmation.
Why don't they just
That's
text me?
hilarious. Gosh, don't you remember when it meant something to get in the mail a big package of your college acceptance? And you
Totally.
can gauge rejection or acceptance by the size of the mail package. And now, like, just text me. Send me an
Ugh,
emoji with a thumbs up, thumbs down.
yeah. I see the TikTok videos of people, like, on their laptops on the airplane, like, seeing if they got into their school, and yeah, I remember waiting for the mailman, like, sitting next to the mailbox, like, you see, he usually comes around 3 o'clock. "Where's my package?"
Oh, you know what? That delayed gratification was good for us because even with TV content, we had to wait a certain day of the week and time before we can consume. the newest episode of Friends or whatever it was that I was
Totally.
addicted to Friends
Are you
back in the day.
what gen are you, Jess? Are you Gen X or Gen Z?
I'm in between. I was born 81. So I'm between Gen X and millennial. I'm like really old. I'm been
Jess,
called an elder millennial.
you just told everyone how old you are. What kind of Asian are you?
Oh, because I like to fish for compliments, Mary. So when people see me today, I get told, you look younger than my actual age."
You
But the
do.
sad part, Mary, is now folks are not estimating that much lower than
Oh,
than my actual it starts to, like that gap goes swoop smaller, and I'm like, "Thanks, that's only 3 years younger than I actually am."
oh, it's horrible, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Well, on that happy note, let's talk about some technology so we don't talk about how old I'm getting. Uh, technology. Okay, we were talking about this earlier at clock and before we hit record today is I think there's a lot of confusion, consolidation, or merging of messaging of every legal tech vendor that I can think of. So Mary, as an example, there are tools in the market that I thought were just CLM or just intake or just research. And now a lot of those separate categorized tools are now sounding like one and the same. But I know they don't do all of those things well. What are your thoughts there, Mary? Like, how does like a buyer sort through all of this?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to be a buyer. It's so hard to be a buyer. And like now, now that I'm in this new role in consulting and like telling a lot of
Yes.
folks like what I'm seeing, what they should be thinking about, it changes by the day. Like literally, you can you can go read the news and then something has happened and a product has changed. I mean, remember when we were buying software, not like we don't anymore, but there used to be like releases, product releases every quarter. Now it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
hey, we have a whole new product line today, Wednesday, like, and tomorrow we might have a whole nother new thing. It's like so fast, no one can keep up. I think it's paralyzing. It's very hard to be a buyer. I encourage folks though. I think it's the same message that I had for when it was just SaaS to now that when it's like AI and agentic tools, you got to just pick one and, start working with
Right
it
there.
and like, cuz it may not be the best tomorrow, but it's the best today and like you have to make a choice and look like CLM's a great example. Like they're all different and one is definitely better for you, but if you pick the wrong one, is it the end of the world? No, like you can
No.
still get value out of it, right? Like you just need the people to and the process to like think through how to use it and get value out of it. So, yes, like pick one of these tools and systems for your use case and let's start. Don't get paralyzed, like start moving. But where is this all going and like what is the stack that you're going to need as an in-house team is totally confusing. I still think and I've said this over and over, I still think you need SaaS. Like you still need a system of
Hmm.
record, you still need, governance, you still need a space to collaborate. So one of the reasons like I think Sandstone is really interesting because I don't know how you guys describe yourselves. Is it like it it's not a chat bot, so it is more SaaS to me, but I don't know. How do you guys describe yourselves?
We're an AI native platform, knowledge orchestration layer, but at the end of the day, it's hard to talk about Sandstone in 3 words or in an
Yeah,
acronym, right? Because of all it can do. But it is naturally a system of record for governance and a place for legal teams to collaborate and share
exactly.
knowledge, right? For that
Yeah.
and be that context engine that it is a gap in the market right now. So why we always talk to our customers, like, they like that we integrate with their CLM, like, if they're using Ironclad and it took them, you know, many years to implement, drive adoption, and that's working, but they
Mhm.
still want a little bit more, and so that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to solve for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like expanding into each other's spaces
Yes.
and who knows, like, do you need just one platform for everything? Do you need multiple platforms and they all need to talk to each other and just have agents running amok between them? Really hard to say. It's still fun though. Gosh, it's such a fun time.
It is so fun, and then the other thing, adding a layer of complexity, but also fun, is vibe coding. So I'm hearing from a lot of my peers too, like, I've been told by our business team, can we just build it ourselves? I just can't, I mean, knowing how much talented engineers that we have on staff and
Yeah.
who are building and maintaining Sandstone,
Yep.
I just can't imagine a legal department taking on those same responsibilities, Mary.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, I think if you're tiny, if you're like a party of 1, yeah, go ahead and vibe code all your own system because the vibe coded stuff likely doesn't leave your desk if you're in a larger organization, like, you can use it for yourself, but how are you gonna scale, like, you can't be like, "I've created the standard for 100 people," without working on it collectively, like, you can't do it that quickly, that's like,
Yeah.
large organizations slow down because they got to standardize and coordinate and, like, have systematized ways of doing things, but if you're solo, I mean, I guess, yeah, go ahead, have at it, like, vibe code your way into, like, as far as you can take yourself until you
Yeah.
hit a wall and realize, "Okay, now I actually need more structure and gotta buy something."
So, if you could summarize in your expertise, when do you think is vibe code build or buy? Do you have like a magic
Um,
framework or something,
I
or maybe it was
yes,
in develop, or maybe you're thinking about it still with your team at LACG. I'm sure
no,
you're
I
consulting
think
about it.
100% buy where you can. Like, why nowadays with there's so much legal technology, why on earth would
Mhm.
you build something when someone else has established an entire company with funding and like people to keep it up
Yes.
and develop new features? That's the challenge I think people don't think about in build versus buy. Like, it's very easy to spin something up. It's just like it's very easy to launch your software. But
Right,
it's
right.
the maintaining and the
Yes,
upkeep and,
yes,
the feature requests and the expansion and the integrations, like, who's gonna stay on all that? Like, we had a CLM that was built in-house at Google, and it was amazing for a while, but then all those engineers moved on to more exciting projects, and you're like, "Hey, hey, 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 this is broken," or "This is broken," and there's, like,
yes.
nobody attending to it anymore. So, that, like, I think building people forget, like, the ongoing resources needed to maintain that.
Right, right.
So, always buy if it's available, like, why wouldn't you? Um,
I
but then
agree
I
there,
think
Carrie, because I've
yeah,
seen build just end up languishing either. So I worked at Microsoft and there was a lot, they use a lot of different legal tech tools or
yep,
tools generally, and they built something internally and it hasn't evolved since I was there. That was 2013. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
maintained by
I believe it.
consultants now.
Yeah, I believe it, I believe it, I believe it.
I had coffee with a friend actually today, and I was like, I go, "Do you still use this tool?" She was like, "Yes, it's a bane of my existence." I'm like, "Oh my god, it looked like it was from the '90s when I was there." She's like, "It still looks the same interface." So you
And
believe
it's
it?
such a
Yes.
shame. Yeah, it's such a shame because there probably were, like, really smart, well-intentioned people who launched it, and, like, there's just no one to keep it up. I think
Yeah.
that's what makes it
Yeah.
really hard. But, with all these tools now, you don't have to buy something and be stuck with exactly what you're given. There's so much ability to configure and to build and to customize in a way that is not, like, millions of dollars of professional services
Yes.
because it requires people to come in and code it, all day long. So, you kinda have the best of both worlds when you buy now.
Yes, I do think the tools built more recently have more flexibility and do and think about integration as one of their top of mind as they're building out the infrastructure of the software.
Yeah,
Well, yes. So one of okay, before we wrap up the show, I'm gonna have a very fun segment and I want you to think about it a little bit.
okay.
And one of the things I like to ask all of our guests is if you could have AI take away something off your plate, what would it be? And it could be anything in the world. Like it doesn't matter that it doesn't exist today
This
as a
is
task.
easy.
What,
Easy.
easy? I know you and I are both very I mean, maybe you're probably busier than me, but we're very busy ladies and moms and traveling all the time. So, but I'm curious, what is your answer? I got mine.
Feeding my family. Oh my god, this is the bane
Oh,
of my existence. Yeah, I have very particular diets and picky eaters in my family, and then I feel like I'm really easy, so I can just feed myself, but then I have to feed the whole family, and nowadays it's like
yeah.
5 bespoke meals that everybody wants their own
Bespoke
thing.
meals.
Like, shame on me for allowing us to get to this point, but yes, it's so much work, and, like, to think, "What are we gonna eat?" And even, like, going out to eat, it's like a debate amongst the 5 of us of like, "Well, I don't want that. Well, I don't feel like that," or "I want this," or "I don't wanna eat that." It's like, "Ah!" Someone just feed everyone.
So and have to do custom meals. Wait, aren't your daughters pretty like can they cook themselves yet? No?
Not like what I want
Not
them to
yet.
eat though, so yeah, I mean,
Oh,
they could
okay.
cook, like, unhealthy things, but we're also I also wanna, like, have it be healthy, and, like, I don't want them to be door
Okay, so
dashing
you're a good
everything every
mom.
day.
I'm like, "Just
Well,
eat just
trying.
microwave that." Yeah, so for me, I just go to Costco a lot. I'm like, "Just heat that up." But you went
Oh,
there's probably endless preservatives in whatever they're heating up, though.
oh, yeah, I'm a
Oh.
little anal about that.
No, you're not anal, you're thoughtful, and you wanna have healthy children. But one of my jokes is one of my daughters is almost 5'7", and I'm barely I think I tell people I'm 5'3", I'm probably 5'2", 5'2 and a half. But I always try but I tell I that they're like, "How did she get so tall?" My husband's not short, but I'm like, "It's because of all the growth hormones in the food she eats." And they're like, "Oh." So that's when they all start laughing. "What? What? There's only growth hormones in there." So, pro tip there, folks, if, you wanna have
There you
taller
go.
children. Um, well, let's see here. My choice would be my band since I'm a lot more lenient on my diet of my kids, my choice is my bandmates is the putting away of clean folded
Oh,
laundry.
clothes, yes. Oh
Clothes.
my
Like,
god.
I actually
Yes.
don't mind the folding and, like, the washing
I
machine and
agree, it's the putting
because it
away.
kind of relaxing. I watch a
I
little
agree.
TV, but then
Totally with you.
I leave baskets in my kids' rooms or
Yes.
living room, and it just stays there. Unput away. It's not a word, I know, but it just sits there.
Or you fold it and then it becomes unfolded because they're looking for their stuff and they don't put it in the drawers properly. No, I'm
Oh, yeah,
with
they
you,
just
that's
pull
another
out
one.
oh, yeah, they just pull out the thing they want, and they just ruin the
Yes.
whole fold. Yes, it's
Yes.
so
Yes.
annoying.
We
I
need
know.
Optimus. Where's the Optimus robot that's gonna help us with that?
Come on, you are an well, actually, you can we're both optimists, or we wouldn't be in this business
Yeah,
and
but these are the
thrive.
things I don't want to do. I'd rather go work on legal ops and things than to fold or put away folded laundry.
Same, same. Well, for folks, as we wrap up the conversation, any advice that you would give to our listeners today who are just interested in learning about legal technology and where to get started? Because I think actually I think of folks who are building the tech and our engineers, and I even think about our brilliant founders of Sandstone, they're a lot further along than the typical legal professional,
Mhm.
honestly. Any tips for legal professionals like, "Oh, no, I need to catch up and start learning about legal tech and getting my hands in there." Anyway, like, where should they start?
You know what? So I have a maybe contrary view to most because I'm speaking with so many folks
Yeah.
that you probably are, right? And you go, wow, there's a lot to learn. I think it's less about legal tech. I think everyone's trying to like get the Claude code and start
Mm.
building on it. But you kind of need to take a step back and understand the business of law. I just think this is so critical to understand like
Mm.
how the business of law works, like what is the job of the lawyer? What do the clients want? What is your in-house client asking for? How does the work? Where does the information come from? How does it flow through the department? You know, who's the decision maker? Like without understanding that, you're creating tools just for yourself versus something for the larger
Mm.
organization
That's a
and like
good
trying to understand like how it flows is important.
that's a good point. I mean, that's just foundational, right? Building a tool is really it's a tool. It's not
Yeah,
I mean, it's not the solution or the end all, but you still need humans involved. And I think you've mentioned that a lot in your podcast and your blog and whatnot. But understanding the why before you build the how is really critical.
right.
So but there's folks
Right.
like LECG to help with that.
That's why we're here.
All right, folks. And for folks who want to connect with you or hear more from you, in addition to your fabulous podcast, Pearls On, Gloves Off, where is the best place to connect with Mary?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I have a Substack that I write articles on. I have a podcast, as you mentioned. So I'm out there. I'm pretty easy to find, and I do try to be responsive. My LinkedIn is a bit of a hot mess, but I do try to get back to people when I can.
It's not a hot mess at all.
No,
Well,
my inbox, the inbox
oh
part.
yeah,
Yeah,
my inbox is hard to manage too. Well, I mean, so that's part of the reason why we're building Sandstone and their various other tools. I have too many channels of communication in my life.
yeah, that's true
Slacks,
too.
text, email, whatever it is, and sorry, LinkedIn inbox, that gets
Yeah,
neglected.
yeah, it does. Exactly right.
Well, it was so great to have you on the show and always a pleasure to see you and talk to you, Mary.
You too. I'm so happy to be working with you these days, and it's a lot
I
of fun.
I know actually it's funny because folks who don't know, when I first met Mary, she was working with a competitor. But folks, I think with and that's okay. You're at Ironclad at the time, and I was at a startup called Lexion. But fast forward 2, 3 years, and our world is so interconnected now, Mary. I joined as an advisor for a company you're on the board of, Paragon Legal. And then just by happen chance, I joined Sandstone and you became a strategic advisor. So, yes.
It's great. So
Well,
and shout out to, like, all of us who were in the CLM world during the time where it was, like, everyone was buying CLM and all the competitors was is a very heated space, but I feel
yeah.
like all of us are and are still friends, like, we were all friendly to each other across the ecosystem, and like, love all the people at all our competitor CLMs, and I say that because I feel like there's so much, like, angst and, like, competition now in the legal tech space that, like, people are trying to destroy each other where there's so much space for all of us, so, you know, we can all be friends.
There's so much space for all of us, and maybe it's easier, like, looking back 2020 hindsight, there's so much also evolution of the space, going back to the evolving title is you can get acquired, you become partners, you move around as an employee, you're not gonna retire, it's
That's
likely you're not
right.
gonna retire at the company you're at, so, just like if you're a regular lawyer, legal professional, it doesn't pay off to be a jerk or unkind to someone. So if that's gonna be our biggest takeaway, Mary, that would be my life lesson for everybody.
There you go. Wise words by Jessica.
Oh, God, I don't hear that very often. I'm gonna make sure our producers keep that portion no matter what. Wise
Love
words
it.
by Jessica. I'm gonna listen. And coming from Mary, I'm gonna share the recording to my husband, who just shakes his head at me all the time at home.
Those can be like your Instagram shorts, you know, you're like,
Wise
wise
words by
words.
Jessica. Yeah, we'll add it to the trailer, Mary. Oh, well, it was so much fun.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Thanks for listening to Evolving with Jessica Nguyen, brought to you by Sandstone. To keep up with every episode, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.